Hey everyone, Bruce Morris from the TABB Group here. Welcome to TabbForum's Market Structure Wave. Last month, TabbForum celebrated our annual list of TabbForum NOVA Award honorees. The NOVAs honor the financial industry's ongoing commitment to technology-driven innovation by annually recognizing 40 organizations for their outstanding recent and sustained achievements. Today, we are very fortunate to have one of our 2025 TabbForum NOVA honorees, Steve Maul, Chief Revenue Officer at Innovative Systems, join us on Market Structure Wave. Hey, Steve, congratulations to Innovative Systems on being selected as a TabbForum NOVA honoree, and welcome to TabbForum.
Thank you so much, Bruce. It's a pleasure to be here.
Oh, our pleasure. So Steve, to get us started, can you talk about how Innovative Systems has created a sustained culture of technological innovation?
Thanks for that question. I think it's a combination both of our heritage and a bit of restlessness that we experience when we're not doing something new. We have a long history of, innovation, right? We named ourselves Innovative Systems, but we've been doing this for over 50 years now. Our company was founded in 1968, and it had at that time what was a pretty revolutionary idea. Combine accurate data and the latest technology, which was kind of, that's when computing was really coming into its own. But the goal of the organization when it first got started was to do that to produce a positive impact. So in the early 70s, a lot of our technology was used in politics. And what was true then is also true today, and that is that we work with organizations who rely upon us for our innovation, our speed, our accuracy in a couple of different areas, specifically around data quality, data management, and risk and compliance. So we have several hundred customers right now, and we work in more than 65 countries. In our early days, we were really focused on customer-centric databases for financial institutions on a worldwide basis. So that's well before, when we had all the core banking systems that were fully integrated and CRMs like Salesforce. Those just didn't exist way back then. And so since then, we've created, like I said, over 2,500 of those, including the top 35 or 35 of the top 50 global banks, more than half of the top 200 US banks, 80% of the central Canadian banks, and virtually all the major banks in Mexico, Ireland, and South Africa. Now we can do that because we started with a large library of purpose-built software that allows us to rapidly configure and develop specialized systems around that data quality and compliance. And then we have what I consider to be kind of a brilliant and perhaps more importantly, intellectually curious engineering workforce that is constantly looking at what could we be doing differently? What could we be doing better? So we're currently on our 14th generation of the technology and already looking into the next. One of the things that came out of that, Bruce, is FinScan, which is our anti-money laundering compliance solution. And it's doing something what I think is truly meaningful in the world, not only improving capital markets and banking operations, but in a way that helps track down and stop terrorists and financial criminals. So today it's used to screen more than 300 billion names and transactions against terrorists and sanctions watch lists. And we're one of the largest such processors in the world.
Steve, thanks for sharing. And that's a great segue for my next question, because it sounds like it's a combination of both the curious in-house technologists and the clients who are constantly looking to become more efficient with their operations. So can you tell us some of about the newer technologies and features that Innovative Systems is featuring on their platform or through your product offerings?
Sure. So one of the things, as I mentioned, we started with data quality and data management. And the enrichment of that data over time, is a moving target. It's constantly evolving. There are always new data sources against which you want to compare your client information or your transactional information to make sure that you're not only having the most accurate data possible, but you also need to be able to process that, particularly in the space of anti-money laundering, against the most recent compliance lists and regulations that are being applied to your business. In the FinScan suite of applications, we've taken our decades of experience in data management and helped our clients assess and improve the data integrity for continuously monitoring for errors in their own client feed and client data. That helps them get better outcomes with greater speed and greater accuracy. In the world of compliance, one of the things that constantly creates challenges is what's known as false positives. There's a list of all those sanctioned individuals and sanctioned securities and sanctioned organizations with whom you're not legally allowed to do business. But if you have a client name who's somewhat similar to that name on the compliance list, you're going to get what's a false positive, and that slows everything down, and it drives a lot of cost into the client organization, because the time it takes and the resources it takes to verify that whether you're dealing with a real sanctioned individual or not is expensive. So most organizations feel like they have not as much control over the quality of the data as they would need for compliance. I was at an industry show last fall where there were about 200 people in the room, and the moderator asked for a show of hands of those who thought that data quality was an important consideration for their compliance efforts, and it was ubiquitous. It would take me less time to count the hands that didn't go up. So high quality client data is one of those things that really has a dramatic impact on an organization's effectiveness and cost structure. The more quality that you can put into that client data reduces the risk, reduces the false positive rate, reduces the cost. So one of the things we've done is taken our core technology of data management and data quality and given that new application. And to the best of my knowledge, we're the only compliance application that does that. Knowing the true condition of the data is the first step towards mitigating risk in both AML and KYC. So that's anti-money laundering and know your customer. And now there's a big push in digital payments, which as an industry is quickly evolving with new payment rails, higher volumes of real-time and cross-border transactions where speed, accuracy, and agility are the focus. So FinScan Payments comes in there to be able to, in remarkably fast rates, track, monitor, and screen every transaction with high degrees of precision, because in a lot of the regulatory environments right now, you are given a very specific time limit in which those transactions have to be screened and approved.
Great. Well, thanks for sharing all of that. And that definitely leads me to my next question, which is where you see technology headed here in the various spaces of the capital markets that you guys are covering. So from just listening to what you were saying, I mean, unless it's too simplistic for me to go here, but artificial intelligence and the agentive side of the that equation, does that make sense for the constant updating of your database, along with from a payment standpoint? What about blockchain? Do you see that type of technology as those new rails that you were describing, or is that version 3.0 and you guys are on 2.0?
Well, blockchain continues to evolve as a payment mechanism. There's no doubt about it, and there's no reason to believe that that's going to slow down. It was originally built primarily for security and safety's sake, but it is also a tool that gets used a lot by criminals, financial criminals, to hide their transactions and hide their activity. So we're continuing to look at how we do the screening against blockchain. And AI in general is going to be a tool that will help with that. One of the challenges in the regulatory space is what's called explainability. So if you can't explain why you chose an individual name or transaction as a match to the sanctions, you're really at risk with the regulators or your auditors. So the big thing that we come back to is, can we explain it? And it will not, it's just never going to get accepted by the regulators that the software said it was a match. You have to be able to take it down at least one more layer and explain what about it matched and why you considered that to be a true hit. So we continue to look at AI with an eye to the future. It's a huge topic of discussion. You can't go to any of the trade events nowadays without seeing AI everywhere. And if you ask 30 people what they mean by AI, you're going to get 42 different definitions. So the challenge is trying to find the ways to apply it. And this is what we're actively working on right now. How do we apply AI to preserve that explainability and still provide the business value of speed and accuracy against whether it's payments or securities or just regular old name screening?
So do your clients, is this like a software as a service solution, or do they actually take your solutions and put it on their servers?
Well, cloud deployment continues to be the largest choice for most of our clients. I think more than 90% of ours take advantage of our SaaS versions. And that's the exception to those are where regulations require that the data must be processed in country. So there are several countries that don't have, where we don't maintain cloud centers, or cloud hasn't yet taken hold, where they still do on-premise, and we allow a hybrid approach to all of our clients. But we expect that cloud-based processing will continue to grow as organizations are striving to reduce their costs, their reliance on their own IT functions, and maintain the upgradability and functionality necessary as the new versions continue to come out.
Great. Well, Steve, thanks so much. This has been just a fascinating conversation on technology and innovative systems, and we really appreciate you sharing your time and all your insights with TabbFORUM today. And for all our viewers who may have missed the TabbFORUM NOVA article featuring innovative systems and all the other 2025 TabbFORUM NOVA honorees, there's going to be a big red button at the end of this interview that will take you to the article. So thanks for stopping by for what was hopefully an educational and an entertaining ride on TabbFORUM's Market Structure Wave. Hey, thanks again, Steve.
Very much my pleasure, Bruce. Thank you for having me.